Pester power. Now, pester power is something that we all know kids like to use to get what they want. Literally, today, beautiful Asher, she wanted to play with a babushka doll that her mum said you're not allowed to play with. And she goes, Daddy, please, please, please. She started doing all of the facial gestures. I got the, the puppy dog, the angry puppy dog, the really pissed off puppy dog. I got all of the little eyes about the 4-year-old trying to get something out of Daddy. Well, Daddy was going to honour what Mummy had to say, and it was, sorry, doll, no. Occasionally you have to do this. Well, anyway, this very same tactic is being employed by 20, 30, even 40-something toddlers. The pester power to be able to demand that people who they disagree with politically should have no access to a microphone or a television camera or a newspaper. It's not because of these people putting their foot over the line when it comes to racism, sexism, ageism, all of the isms, right? What it's about trying to widen the definition of all of those things and lower the bar as so much so that eventually people who have just been pretty effective at being able to push back against the woke revolution, or dare I say, offering an alternative opinion, they should be deplatformed. They should be sent to Siberia. That what should happen to people like me, stations like this, is not just that you lose your job, but you become unemployable. That people will delete your name from their phones. And the message then goes out far and wide. Kiss the ring or pay the price. Well, pester power, as you know, is being tried right now on Alan Jones for his radio show. And Adam Bandt has said that he is trying to make sure that he can get a petition up of people who have never listened, don't listen, or probably don't even get access to the airwaves of 2GB or 4BC, of course, to get rid of Alan Jones. There is an online campaign which has been retooled in the past couple of days that is something that makes clearly defamatory claims about me, about this show, and about why sponsors shouldn't be supporting it. As I've asked you, and we have to keep doing, because I don't want the little 20-something media, the little 20-something social media people to believe that 100% of people say, don't be associated with this stuff, quick, run for the hills. So we're asking you to do what you have been doing, and you've been doing a great job of this, which is go onto our Facebook page, see all of those names that we've got of our advertisers. We'll send a message to them, nice, polite, say thank you. Thank you for supporting free speech. Now, Nicholas, we can disagree on so much, but our ability to have this forum to do it in, I think we are on the most unity of unity tickets, whether it be you host or me host.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I've got to start with Adam Bandt, though. I mean, I obviously live in Melbourne and I know the electorate pretty well, and I can guarantee you there ain't many Alan Jones listeners in the federal seat of Melbourne. I reckon there'd probably be about 0 people who tune in to Alan Jones each day in the federal seat of Melbourne. So I'm not sure who he's trying to collect signatures from in his part of the world. I suspect what it's really about is trying to collect actual email addresses from people who sort of, who sort of support his worldview, and he can collect a big database of those names and email addresses, and he can go back to them with other messages and try and get them behind his campaigns going forward. So it's a classic political play you're seeing there. As for the sort of pester power campaign being run against you, Paul, I actually think it's a disgrace. Like, as you know, I lean in very, very hard on progressive issues. I lean in very hard on climate change. I'm all the way on a Indigenous voice to Parliament. I'm a tireless campaigner on rights for minority groups, but I also agree that we can have robust discussions about these things, and it doesn't mean that somebody who's disagreeing with me should be banned or, badgered out of business by someone else. I mean, that's just everything that Australia shouldn't be about. And so, yeah, I just think those people doing that are frankly un-Australian. Well, and it's this thing where, look, James and Bronwyn, I know that there's a view that to keep talking about the trolls feeds the trolls, but the truth is that if we don't push back, if we don't say anything, then the social media manager gets 100% negative comments, which are pro-form letters, which are double-click and send it off, double-click, send it off, and they say, geez, we're getting hundreds of letters, and what are people whose main job is not advertising their business, it's running their business, they turn around and say, oh, just fine, turn the noise down. That's why it's called the pester power part of this. Now, look, James,
anyone who thought that this stuff ended with the election result was kidding themselves. There was a little stunned effect as people didn't quite get the woke result that they wanted, but they're going to regroup and come back even harder over the next 3 years. They will keep going until they get what they want.
Yeah, I mean, before we talk about that, can we just talk for a second about what an absolutely useless local MP Adam Bandt is. I've lived in his seat now for 6, 7 years, or more actually, and he is without question the worst MP I've ever had from a local perspective. I've lived in Costello's seat, I lived in Shorten's seat, I lived in Andrew Peacock's seat, and Lindsay Tanner was... Bandt is invisible. I often wonder what he does all day, and this is the sort of garbage he does. He doesn't write, he doesn't dawn on, he doesn't call, you never see him. He's just doing this sort of trash. I think you're right. We've got to push back at it. We've got to we can't stand for it. But we also, I think, at one level, we're going to have to accept, the world being the way it is, that the future for independent media and views that go against the mainstream is subscription. The whole business model that the media that has evolved over 150 years, where we're dependent on advertisers, is now broken because these people are taking an axe to it. And you know, if we want to keep the media we want, we're going to have to pay and we're going to have to subscribe. It's just a fact, I'm afraid, I reckon. Yeah,
it's this thing where, again, Bronwyn, you know, every time I talk about this with some people behind the scenes, there is this real debate about, do you talk about it, do you not? I mean, this is a show that's meant to be talking about the stuff that matters all day, every day, the stuff that matters to normal people. And, of course, this feels like a deeply self-indulgent conversation. But if it's about our ability to exist, well, that's kind of front and centre, isn't it? Before we're even able to fight any other battles, we've got to fight the battle to be here.
Yeah, well, a message for Mr Bandt. There's another old Bohemian saying, don't follow the wolf's footprint into the forest, pussycat, because that's what Bandt is. And Alan Jones will eat him for breakfast. But the point that you make about pushing back is very important. And when there is becomes known that an advertiser has pulled off because of this sort of thing, then make it known to them. I have done precisely that when Colgate behaved badly. I went up to their representatives in Woolworths and said, I will not be buying your products for the following reason, and set it out. So I
haven't had any Pizza Hut pizza for a while, I'll give you the tip.
Yeah, well,
all Domino's in my world.
Absolutely. So it is important to push back because it's like the old campaigns where you used to get pro forma letters on a particular issue, only this time it's done electronically.
Well, and it's literally...
But the problem is the decision's been made by some millennial...
That's the point.
In the firm saying, oh, well, we better not do that because they've been brought up as woke people.
Yeah, correct. But also it's this thing where if you can get 10 people to quit the ship, then it sends a message to the next 10, don't go near it because it's too loud, it's too hot, it's all the rest of it. Look, I think that the ultimate aim is you know, we'll see what happens, but there is every right for you to be able to watch this, to push back. And as you know, look, every single night, here's the thing. The opinions are all real. Sometimes the volume is the showbiz. That's at times the theatrics. So sometimes when we're really sort of whacking away at each other, you know it's not personal between Nick and I, but it can be quite willing at times about the ideas. If you can't get that, if you don't get that, and I'll give you the tip, go and find, you know, over there on the drum and see if there's the token Conservative who's actually able to fire up as hard as the people who would disagree with me on this show. Good luck.